Hello everyone and welcome back to my B&B Everyday YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brooke will have a lot to say after chancing Hope, Logan and Carter on the verge of some office passion. Brooke will caff Hope about her rearmost romantic development, and she'll no mistrustfulness question Carter's motives when it comes to supporting her son's line. Meanwhile, Ivy Forrester will take matters into her own hands when it comes to grabbing her own chance at success. Steffy Forrester tried to pump the thickets on Ivy's dreams, but Ivy wouldn't give up. We'll see Ivy take her jewelry line offer to Rich Forrester, who may grant Ivy's want, especially with Electra Forrester and Eric Forrester in her corner. Back with Brooke, she'll hurl serious Steffy-affiliated allegations during a battle with Rich. Brooke may argue that Carter is right about Steffy's particular issues getting in the way and charge her of conniving Hope's misery. Latterly, Rich will meet up with Taylor Hayes, who'll have some news regarding her broken heart pattern. It sounds like Taylor may admit some lab results from Dr. Grace Buckingham, so stay tuned to see if she'll give Rich positive updates. She'll make a huge mistake during a showdown with Steffy. Effects will get out of hand as Steffy confronts Hope over Carter's support for her line. Steffy may ultimately put the mystification pieces together on Hope and Carter's love. That may be the last straw after all Carter's gutsy jest recently, which has clearly rankled Steffy up. Carter will spend some time at Il Giardino with Deacon Sharp and Sheila Sharp, so he'll have a chance to see Sheila's witch costume and sample her delicious Halloween creations. Carter will also make some prognostications about Hope and the amazing effects he plans to help her achieve, but Steffy's about to strike back. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Steffy will let rage take over, as she puts her Forrester power to good use. We'll see Steffy make a shocking move as co-CEO that causes chaos, and Rich will shock everyone just as important by going along with it. Will Steffy remove Carter from his susurrus spot? Will Carter learn he's fired or at least disrated at Forrester Creations? Still, Hope's line could be cancelled just as fast. It's not looking like there's important stopgap for either of their futures professionally, but Hope and Carter's romantic chances could remain complete if Carter's out. During the week of November 4th to 8th, suckers will see the fallout of Steffy's bold move and Ridge's backup. Brooke may throw a hissy fit and drive Ridge indeed further into Taylor's arms. As for Carter and Hope, they may eventually surrender to temptation once they drown out all the distractions. Hope and Carter might covenant not to let Steffy get them down despite how bleak effects look. Cleric and Brooke continued to talk at Il Giardino. Their main content of discussion was their son. They were in admiration of how Carter stepped up to defend Hope's honor and fashion line at the meeting. But eventually they wanted her to be happy, so they brainstormed potentially playing matchmaker for her. But who could they set her up with? They touched on Liam, but Deacon said that although he has grown to like the Joe, he didn't like how he treated Hope. He principally considered Liam a waffler just like Rich. In fact, he felt like the two love triangles were veritably analogous. But the person they do end citation is Carter. They said they wanted someone like Carter still. At Forrester, Steffy took a call from a buyer who no longer wanted to do business with Hope for the future. This validated Steffy's opinion that they would have to cut the line if the deals continued to flail. Steffy told Ridge that she knew everybody allowed. She had it out for Hope, but she said this wasn't the case. The figures aren't there. Latterly, Ridge and Steffy both questioned why Carter went to club for Hope and Hope's line so deep at the meeting. They felt it was weird and commodity had to be over. But what could it be? Eventually, effects between Hope and Carter grew hot. But Hope wasn't ready because she had jumped from the end of her marriage to the disaster with Thomas. Also, she idealized Finn and kissed him. She claimed she demanded to be conservative with her heart. Carter assured Hope he wasn't the Joe who would do that. Accordingly, Hope just demanded to take effects sluggishly. She still wanted to see him. Hope reflected on Carter's unforeseen faith in her, and her work with Hope for the future. Brooke walked by and couldn't believe her son was actually smiling. They talked about Carter's positive underpinning for her line, and they agreed not to let Steffy ruin Hope for the future's chances of success. Latterly, in turn, Will walked in, and Brooke and Hope lessoned him on the ways of the Forrester family business, primarily the Logan versus the Forresters. Hope said that she's happy to have further Logan support around still. In turn, he told them that of the main reasons he loved working at FC was the beautiful women. At Il Giardino, Deacon and Sheila talked about why Brooke visited Deacon at the eatery. He told her about Hope and Carter and how Steffy continued to hang HFTF. At Forrester, Carter informed Hisco CEO of his big picture ideas, which included exercising combinations and accessions to bring in companies that would add to a Forrester luxury brand that would be great to make. This included rebooting the jewelry line Quinn formerly ran. Steffy's station was enough iffy, but Carter forged on. In addition to his ideas, he arranged a meeting with Ivy, Ashley Brewer, who he allowed could run the jewelry line. Still, Steffy felt ambuscaded and didn't want to work with someone she had disaccorded with preliminarily. Despite Carter and Ivy giving Steffy the hard sell, she wasn't sure. Ivy brought in her adjunct, Electra Forrester, whom Steffy was veritably happy to see. Unfortunately, her presence didn't sway Steffy, and as the occasion ended, Steffy looked overwhelmed and equivocal. The meeting about rebooting the jewelry line continued, and as hard as Carter and Ivy communicated their perspective of how this move could be great for the company and the family, Steffy eventually passed. Out in the hallway, Carter, Ivy, and Electra bandied Steffy's rejection of the jewelry line idea. Ivy brought Electra up to speed on their bad blood, which involved both of them being in love with Liam Spencer. Carter wished Steffy would just concentrate on the business side and forget the particular baggage. Hope and Brooke reiterated their studies to Will about the work terrain at Forrester. They emphasized the Logan versus Forrester contest and how Steffy occasionally tried to put the enmity away, but also again, occasionally she leaned into it. Latterly, during Brooke and Steffy's discussion, Steffy started questioning Carter's judgment as susurrus. It wasn't just about his over-the-top defense of Hope's line, it was also about the jewelry line reboot. Will suddenly banged into someone in the hallway. Unfortunately, everything the person was holding flew far and wide. Will helped pick her effects up, including a ring. When he was on one knee, he reached out to return the ring. It was Electra, and she and Will engaged in a match cute. Eventually, Carter stormed into Hope's office, lamenting how Steffy kept making opinions grounded on her particular issues. And that wasn't right. While she was a able CEO, she demanded to be further than able. For what he was allowing, Steffy demanded to go big. Hope encouraged Carter's ideas and told him that indeed if Steffy didn't believe in them, he should take them to Eric and Ridge. Carter told Hope that what he was proposing was a major game changer. Meanwhile, Steffy and Ridge bandied Carter. She again mentioned she was starting to question his judgment, and it wasn't just about HFTF. He arranged to bring Ivy then to blindside her on rebooting the jewelry line. She didn't know what he was allowing. Ivy and Electra landed at Eric's place. There, they looked at family print compendiums, but Ivy ultimately told Eric that she was in city with Electra to reboot the jewelry line. She had a feeling it wasn't going to be, and that was because of Steffy. After hearkening to Ivy, Eric felt that Steffy and Ridge should hear. In the meantime, he suggested that Ivy and Electra stay at his place. Will and an inspired Zen talked at Forrester. Zen noticed how the women around Forrester Creations wanted to be in Will's propinquity. Will told Zen about his match cute and said her name was Electra, but Zen didn't know who she was. Zen, Hope and Carter joined an improvisational meeting in Steffy's office. On the docket was HFTF. Buyers were bailing, and Steffy wasn't sure if they could recover from this. That's why she felt they should either cut the backing or cut the line fully. When Hope started to defend her line, Carter intruded so he could handle effects. He said that his ideas were anti-vagrancy. He'd been studying this for a long time. He told them about expanding the Forrester luxury brand beyond fashion. He wanted everybody to suppose on a grand scale. Did Steffy and Ridge really hear to what Carter had to say? Steffy and Ridge started to defend Forrester, saying that it's not a launch-up but a luxury brand. While Carter agreed with them, Brooke and Eric walked by. Will joined Liam for lunch at Spencer, where they talked about all the beautiful women at FC. Liam allowed. None more so than Hope. Will suggested Liam suppose less and do more. Suddenly, Liam talked about always knowing deep down that he wanted to grow old with Hope. She was the only hope for his future. Again, Will encouraged his half-family to not get perfunctory when it came to Hope. Carter disburned his game-changing idea for everyone. Eric came up with feasible downsides to this extraordinary expansion he's talking about. Acquiring these companies could come with substantial debts and pitfalls. Carter conceded this strike. Eric brought up the jewelry line, and Steffi advised that this might not be a good time to go this route, especially with HFTF heaving for air. Carter understood where she was coming from and tried to ease their apprehensions. Carter continued to make good points about getting into cosmetics and scent. He allowed. Reaching out to Jabot would be ideal. But first they had to invest in themselves, specifically in HFTF. When Steffi wondered why he continued to stick up for HFTF so much, Carter himself wondered if her enterprises weren't professionally grounded. Eventually Steffi, Eric, and Ridge heeded to Carter, and they said they'd get back to him. Steffi admitted that Carter's ideas were good but allowed. He was due wrong on one thing: HFTF. Hope and Carter returned to the other office to celebrate what had just occurred. Brooke was agitated about the possibilities, while Ridge demanded to reuse it all first. Hope felt amped by what Carter had just done. Carter admitted that he'd sat on these ideas for so long, and he no way would have pitched them without her help and stimulant. This was his way of giving back to the company the faith and confidence they had shown him all these times. Just as Hope and Carter started getting hot and amorous, Hope told Carter to lock the door. Unfortunately, it was too late. Brooke walked by and yelled, "Carter, what are you doing?" "Oh my God, Hope,